Happy New Year, everyone. I am just doing a little bit of testing before we start um, to see how I can see um, your comments as I'm sharing my information with you today. So far um, it hasn't switched over, and um, you can see me on there, but okay, here it goes. Yeah, it always does this little uh, switch over thing, and it just switched over and it's showing me things. Am I still live, Nava? Yep. Okay, she's giving me the thumbs up. Expand video. Let me try that. Thanks for being patient with me. And then event logs. Maybe that's it. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so I'm going to have Nava go ahead and jump off, and I am going to get started here in just 1 minute. Comments and moderation tool. Comments. Okay, there. I think. Hi. Oh, there's, yay. Hi, Stephanie. Yay. Now I can see the comments. Thanks. Okay, Nava, we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share here and see you on the other side. Nava, you guys, I'm hanging with you. Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for being here. Fabulous. And now I know where to see the comments, and I really appreciate that. So here it is, 10:10, and it's Christy's Clarity, and I really want to wish you a happy upcoming new year. And I want you to think about some things that really benefited you over the last year. I know it's been a rough year again. How does this happen? But it has. And so, into the new year, take the positive. I mentioned last week that those of you who have been working with me, you want to only let things cross the threshold of your mind and your lips that you want to create more of. So don't go dissing 2021. Just look for the good and keep repeating the good, and repeat the good in your actions. So today we're going to talk about new year, same you. How does that happen? That's kind of, when I look back at last year, everybody was so glad to see 2020 gone. And then look what happened 2021. And so many people responded to, oh gosh, here we go again. That is status quo thinking. Now, the question that I want to ask you, are you living 90 years, or are you living 1 year 90 times? If you're bringing your same old beliefs into the process, into the new year, you will be creating the same kind of year this time. And even, let's say the pandemic goes away, but you're stuck in that thinking, guess what? You're going to have the same kind of year. So what do you do about that, right? The challenge is that we have subconscious beliefs that run us. And since they're subconscious and most of us don't know how to access them or to see them, then they run us. It's just like the law of gravity runs us without us paying attention to it, right? And then when people started paying attention to gravity, they started to discover aerodynamics. And that's what you get to do this year as we move into 2022, is to start paying attention to your thoughts. That's the number one key of the work that I do with my clients, is to notice your thinking. What are your thoughts that you are having? What's behind your thoughts? And is this a repeat thought? Oh, did I think this last year? Is this? And then I love to measure my thinking on a vibrational scale. Is this a negativo, as my coach Katarina says, or is it a positivo thought? Right? So you can measure your thoughts as they start coming into your mind, hopefully before they cross your lips, and think, oh, what is the vibrational frequency of this thought that I'm about to release into the world? And catch yourself, right? uh, I have a model that I work with my clients about how to see those habitual thoughts coming and what to do with them. So I'm going to share that with you today as a tool. You can also go to my website and go to products, and there's one there called 21 Days to Change a Habit. And it says, first off, these are 21 days worth of tools to change a habit. You gotta stick with it. And that's why we have coaches, and that's why we have support around us. Doing it alone has sure not been beneficial for me. I was talking with a client yesterday, and we were talking about the whole idea of exercise. And I know me, no matter how much I want to be disciplined, how much my physical therapist say go home and do these exercises. Now I have built some new habits over the last 2 years that have been beneficial for me around my habits, but I know the best thing that works for me is to do it with somebody else, have a schedule, go somewhere else. So my husband and I have set up that we're going Tuesdays and Thursdays to the gym at 4 o'clock when he gets off work. And I know myself, and eventually I will get that habit in me so much that it doesn't matter if he goes or not. And guess what? I actually have a physical therapist as a coach who said, let's get you to that point where it's not dependent on him going or not. But it's like, how do we build these tools up? So here's the model. Okay, so you're walking through your day, and it's usually a feeling. I know I have a feeling, and it's almost like feeling creepy, and I go, oh, what am I thinking? And some kind of thought that I have is kind of causing me to feel a little bit off, right? And I go, oh, what am I thinking? Oh, I'll tell you one that's kind of funny. When I go through Facebook threads, and I know I'm posting my stuff up on Facebook, and I go, I don't even want to play in this game. I don't want to play in this arena. Okay, so here's the process. Stop that thinking and notice it. This is the hindsight. Now notice it. That puts you in peripheral vision. And when you notice it, instead of saying, oh yeah, there I go thinking that again, celebrate knowing it. Celebrate your awareness. Go, oh gosh, I'm still doing it. I still feel that way, but guess what? I'm noticing it, because at that point, that's the point that you can make a change. You can do something. Now, it may happen several times, but that brings your patterning to pause and bring it to this point of celebration. Then, as you do that enough, eventually you'll see it coming, and you'll go, you're not going to get me this time. That's foresight, right? And you go, you're not going to get me this time. And you move it to seeing it coming before it happens. That's the number one way that you can bring your subconscious awareness to the surface. Now, it's what I do with my clients all the time, especially through my intuitive wisdom drawing sessions. And I help people through using the image bring that to the subconscious. Now, if you love to draw or doodle or whatever, you can do that yourself as well. Just like ask a question and say, oh, what is it that this image sparks in me? Now, the reason that works is not because I am intuitive, and I do work with my clients one-on-one and do this work, but what that does is I'm actually connecting with their intuition, right? But you have your own intuition. You can pause. The image sparks things that we don't always have words to. I'm a trained art therapist, and that's the work that I did for many years, and especially with high school students and teenagers, was the image just sparked. They'd go, and anybody, it's like, oh, that reminds me of. And you listen to your own intuition. So, love to hear some of the thoughts. Hi, Deborah. Nice to see you. So why don't some of you put maybe some thoughts that come up for you that you wouldn't have normally thought in the chat, and let's see what we can do with those thoughts. So remember that it's hindsight. See it coming. okay? And then celebrate it no matter whether you do it or not. See, because most people go, look, no, they don't do that. That's my, They go, oh, look, here I am doing it again. I never change. How come I never change? And think of the vibrational frequency of that thought as opposed to, oh, look, I'm noticing. I'm doing it still, but I'm noticing. That means that I'm going to be able to move forward, right? So think about the a thought that maybe you have repeatedly, like the one I was just talking about, looking at the Facebook post, and here's that, okay, in action. Okay, so it's like, oh, look at all these other people putting their message out. I just don't even know if I want to play in this arena and everything. And then I go, oh, look at that negative thought. How can I turn that thought around? How can I see that thought and do something about it before it comes? And I go, oh, you know what? Just like those of you that are on here listening to Christy's Clarity, my work in the world is to be in service and to be creative and to bring creativity to other people. And I go, oh, if I don't get my message out there to people, then they're not going to know that I have something they may want and may really benefit them. I mean, the number of people that I have benefited over the years. I have a favorite little story I'm going to share with you just before I sign off about a young woman, a young mother who I worked with. She's still in my life and very dear to me. And she was having a struggle. I meant Deborah. I meant just post something here, and we could talk about it. But I've moved on. But anyway, it's so great, Deborah, that you're here. I love knowing that you and Stephanie are here, and how many others. So here's the story. Okay, so there's this young woman, and she's asked me to share this story. I've shared it on this big stage with Mary Morrissey, talking to, around 1,000 people, sharing this story with them. So this young woman had one son, but she wanted to have her second child in her marriage, and she kept having miscarriages. It just kept not being able to bring the pregnancies into being. And so one of the things that we did was a little bit of a distraction, which I have another funny story around that, but I'm not going to go there, which was, okay, so we'll hold for you that this lovely event is happening for you, but in the meantime, is there something else you'd like to do? And she said, I love gardening and I want to help kids garden. And so she started going to her son's school and started helping at their school create a garden. Okay, in the meantime, she's getting her self-esteem. She's starting to believe in herself. A young man on the side of the road had a motorcycle accident. She pulled over and sat with him until the ambulance came and everything. And she said, I was so absolutely sure of myself being able to be there that it was important for me to be there and be with him. So all of these things are like raising her self-confidence, raising her belief in herself. And then she gets pregnant, and there's like, this is it, yay, this is exciting. And then it seemed like she was starting to miscarry again. She went into the doctor, and the doctor said, well, sorry, honey, not honey, they wouldn't call her honey, right? I call her honey. Sorry, patient of mine, here, take this medicine to, help finish up the process, and, go home, recover, and in a couple of months we'll start over again. She said to me, Christy, for the first time, I believed in myself instead of the doctor. And it wasn't the doctor as in this man, it was as in something outside of myself. And she said, for the first time, I believed in myself. And I went into the doctor the next day and I said, I can't take this medicine. I just know that there's something more to this. They did an ultrasound, and her pregnancy had been twins, and one of those twins had aborted. and the other twin was well and healthy. And that young man, he used to be on our coaching calls all the time. That young man is now, I think he's about 7 years old. And I'm somebody special in his life because if she hadn't, she told me this, if she hadn't been doing this work, she would have just gone along with what the doctor said. But she began believing in herself. Why? Because she stopped and said, there's something about this thinking, and I'm going to pause here and I'm going to notice it, and I'm going to do something with it this time. And so that's a really strong story. It's I feel like I know. In fact, I had one of my colleagues and coaches saying, Christy, you're never going to tell me that you're not good at this work anymore because you saved a life. And I know I've saved many lives. And I'm here to serve, and I'm here to help you move into this new year thinking about what is the vibrational frequency of the thoughts that are starting to form in your head. And in the first part of it, we have to start noticing where those came from, or it's easier when we think of where they came from. But as we practice this, what happens is you have that feeling come up and you go, oh, this is not incongruent with my best self. So what is a new thought that I can think? And you don't even have to go back and find out where that came from. So as you move into this new year, 2022, you can make it your best year no matter what's happening in the rest of the world, and no matter what the conditions are happening in your life. But you have to not go down that slippery slope of going down, as my coach would say, one of my coaches, Katerina, would say, going down that negativo slippery slope, right? So this year, really pause when you have that feeling like you're not your best self and go, oh, what's the thought behind that? Or if you're ready to move on, just go, hey, wait a minute. I am. So this is what I do, because I love the word divine, and I love that I love the word divine, and I love knowing that I am the divine in expression. And so I just go, oh, look, I'm playing as the divine and for the divine. Whatever I'm doing, I'm creating out of that place of being the divine in expression. And when I'm not expressing the divine, it's as if I am doing a disservice, not just to the divine, but everyone around me. So this year, my word for 2022 is freedom, right? So I am living this year in freedom and joy, regardless of the conditions. I teach from this book often, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, and he says, no matter the most laborious work we must do as humans is to know truth regardless of appearance. So I know this year for me is freedom, joy, creativity, expression of life, no matter what the appearance is, no matter what that level of thinking is, that is anything unlike the divine. So I want to leave that with you, and I just accept for you that this is going to be just exactly what you needed to hear today. And that's part of my mastery, my masterpiece in the world, is to be in service, to bring creativity and joy to you. Have a great upcoming year, and I hope to see you next Friday at 10:10. I've got some great things in mind for 2020. Oh, and thank you, Deborah. Your word is allow. Allowing the world to unfold as it is and will not force it. That's so beautiful. So my lovely Nava put a link in there to these videos if you'd like to go back and see any of the other videos. Yes, Happy New Year to you, Deborah, and to Stephanie, and to everybody watching this video. Have a great new year. Make this one the best, no matter what. And now I find the end video. Okay.